What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another live stream here on my channel. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Today we are going to focus solely on Elon Musk, the share price of Tesla, and how it has been negatively affected in these recent days or past week, with Elon Musk being on footage smoking weed on the Joe Rogan talk show on YouTube, along with a few of his executives or chiefs at his company Tesla leaving him. So there's been a very negative outcome from all of this on Tesla stock, and that's what we're going to focus on here today. So thank you guys once again for joining in. Tesla 3, what's up, my man? Hassan, Bo, insert name here, Cooley, Bo, all of you guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the stream. So we'll wait a few seconds here before we get a few more people in, and then we'll kind of run through this whole little show that I have set up for you guys here today. All right, so it should be fun, and I think everybody's going to get a different perspective or a good opinion on what's to happen with Tesla and kind of what I see taking place in the next couple days, in an outlook until our next earnings report here for Tesla coming up. I believe it's going to be on 10/31. Yes, on 10/31. All right, so good. What's going on, everybody? All right, so let's head into it. All right, so moving forward. All right, so Elon Musk was caught smoking weed on the Joe Rogan show. So for some of you, you guys may not know who Elon Musk is, and if you don't, here's kind of a little view, a little snapshot of what we have going on here. So for one, Elon Musk was kind of the founder of PayPal. He was the one who created PayPal, with a few people that ended up taking off and becoming really big. And that's what really set the stage for Elon Musk. That's how he really became wealthy in today's world, was initially from PayPal. Then PayPal was eventually bought out by eBay. They sold PayPal to eBay for around 1.5 billion, somewhere around there. And then after that, he took it upon himself to create a new journey, in which would be Tesla Motor Company. So for those of you that might not be quite informed about Tesla, or if you haven't heard about them yet, they're a big publicly traded company, and well, they're always in the news for one, but secondly, Tesla is a primarily a company that revolves around creating environmentally friendly electric vehicles. That's kind of their main business. They do a few other things, but ideally that's what they're most commonly well known for, is their electric car making and production, which we all know hasn't been going very well since they became a publicly traded company. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. All right, so moving forward, give me just a quick second here. So moving forward, we're going to take a quick look at what actually happened here. We're going to play a quick video. There won't be any sound to the video I'm going to show you, but we're going to do a quick video here on when it actually took place, when Elon Musk was actually seen smoking on the Joe Rogan show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we go. So here it is. All right, this is kind of when it all happened. Just this past week, he got caught smoking weed on the Joe Rogan show. So here you can see Joe Rogan lights up a joint, and Elon Musk says, "Is that a joint?" And this is exactly when Elon knew he just screwed himself and everything went down for the worst, right? So here he is. It smells good. Let me take a little puff. Let's see how this goes. And oh, there it goes. Boom. That was the moment Elon knew he effed up right there. You see it? Yes, we all see it. That's the moment in time. He just scared all of his investors and knew that his stock was going to take a turn for the worst. All right. So you guys now see the clip on the Joe Rogan show. That is what everyone is talking about. That one simple hit of marijuana or weed, whatever you want to call it. That is what did it for Elon Musk and Tesla. All right. Before we go forward, a lot of people are saying, well, he didn't inhale. He should have inhaled. He wasn't really smoking because he didn't inhale. Regardless of the semantics, whether he did inhale or he didn't inhale, it doesn't really matter. A big CEO of a company like Tesla should never be caught in the realm of doing drugs, for one, but let alone on a YouTube channel by Joe Rogan, who has a massive following, which we all knew, and he knew that this would definitely get out to the public. All right. So before we move forward, all right, there's a lot of talk and conspiracy that Elon purposely hit the joint, right? So there is the conspiracy that Elon purposely smoked this joint so that he could cause the share price of Tesla to decrease so that he could actually buy more shares in Tesla at a lower price. So there is this conspiracy theory, which I don't really think is too far-fetched or out of the realm of possibility. I do believe that there is some truthfulness or, reliability to that conspiracy, that he did in fact take a hit of this joint to decrease the cost of his shares so that he in fact could buy it up, or that in one way or the other, it would become more affordable for the average investor. Maybe these are hedge funds. So there is that conspiracy that this was all a plan to decrease the share price. And whether it is or whether it isn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter when it comes to us as traders and investors in the outside world. Whether it was or wasn't a conspiracy, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because his share price got crushed, and that's what we're here to talk about, and the ways that we could kind of plan and foresee what might actually happen here in the near future with Tesla. So let's move forward onto our next slide. All right, so here we are, guys. Here is the next slide, and give me just a quick second. 1 second here. Let me go back to my other screen. All right, and I'll get to reading some comments here in just a few moments. But right now, what you guys are looking at here on the screen, these are just a few. There's plenty of them out there. Once Elon got caught smoking weed and all this, company and different things took a turn for the worse, there were multiple news outlets coming out and reporting on this, right? So here are just a few of them, one from NASDAQ.com and two from CNBC, one of which here. So after Elon got caught smoking weed, it was in the same day or the same week that their Tesla chief accounting officer ended up leaving the company. That's not good, all right? Then there was also this, the Tesla HR department boss, Gabby Toledano. She was on leave, and then she decided, I believe, once this all kind of broke that he was smoking weed, once this happened, there was, a report from CNBC that the HR boss, head of HR, ended up deciding not to come back to the company. So in the same time frame that the accounting officer left, Elon Musk smoking weed on the Joe Rogan show, and the HR department, chief of the HR department ended up leaving. That all happened within the course of like the same day, if not just in the course of the same week. So think about all that negative news that just hit Tesla right in the face. They just got smacked pretty hard right in the face with a bunch of negative news all at once, which had then caused Tesla stock to get negatively smacked very, very hard, which it is what it is. All right. And then you also have this one down here. This was from CNBC. Now, we will talk about this for a second. So there is this talk that the Air Force is going to be looking into Elon Musk's pot smoking, right? Now, I will say this. There is also people out there that they're saying that this is fake news and that the Air Force isn't actually looking into Elon Musk smoking pot. And whether or not the Air Force is or isn't looking into the smoking, it doesn't really matter. The fact that this had been put on the internet, that the Air Force was looking into Elon Musk smoking pot, whether it is true or not, doesn't really matter. The fact that it hit the news and the fact that it hit the wire and it's out there for the public to see, that is all going to add into how the share price of Tesla is affected. So whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. The news has hit and people are going to interpret it in every which way that they choose and please to do so, okay? So again, here's a bunch of just three different outlets, or not three different, there's two different outlets that are reporting on the news, and you have myself, okay? Right, so I'm going to go through some of these comments here, guys. Got caught, laugh out loud. So yeah, it looks like you guys are just kind of giggling up about this. That's another thing, right? Yeah, so I see what you guys are saying about, cannabis. It's legal. It should be legal. But at the end of the day here, guys, right, you take a CEO like Elon Musk of Tesla, big publicly traded company with lots of promises to be made. Whether it's legal, whether he didn't hit it, it really doesn't matter, because here at the end of the day, Tesla is a publicly traded company. What comes with a publicly traded company is investors who are made promises and who expect outcomes, right? And for the CEO of this company to come out, smoke weed, then have the head of their HR department leave, have their chief accounting officer leave, just those three, those are just three, right? We've seen their cars crash and catch flames. We've seen their automated cars crash, a bunch of different stuff, right? So for the head CEO, the main guy that runs the show, for him to come out and then be smoking weed, had these two people leave his office. And mind you, just a couple weeks back, he did an interview with New York York Times, and he was reported on New York Times, well, I guess really the report or the interview with New York Times was basically revolving around Elon Musk has been extremely stressed and frustrated throughout this whole especially this whole past year of business, right? So you have the New York Times interview that basically goes and explains that Elon is under a lot of pressure. He is very frustrated and very stressed. That doesn't look good to investors. Chief accounting officer leaves, head of HR leaves, and then he's caught smoking weed. It all does not look good. So whether or not Tesla will in fact be a company for the future, it doesn't matter. But in the short term, that's what we're looking at. Short term wise, the news is going to negatively impact Tesla's stock, and that's what we're going to get to here in just a second. All right, so let's move forward here. I'm going to be sharing my screen now to you guys. All right, so right now, and actually let me decrease the size of this guy. All right, so right now, this is what the current stock or the current chart of Tesla looks like on a yearly time frame. So what we're looking at right now is Tesla's share price and movement and fluctuation over the course of the last trading year or year to date. All right, so if I zoom in here, we're going to do a little couple descriptions here. This was kind of the previous high, right? This yellow box marks the previous high around 390. This yellow box area, that was after Elon tweeted that he was going to be taking his company private, in which resulted in the SEC questioning him about whether or not he had the funds to actually take the company private. That since has been kind of botched, has been kind of pushed away to the side. That's not really new news anymore. That's kind of old. Now we're on to the whole him smoking weed thing. All right. So now this yellow box will represent where the current share price of Tesla is at. Now this red box is going to mark off where Tesla previously bounced from. So as you can see right now, Tesla is into an area where we had previously seen the stock have a nice recovery. These yellow will mark where we had that last bounce, excuse me. So we had this last bounce around $244, which ended up taking Tesla up for a nice ride. Then we popped out, and now we're coming back down to that same area, right? We're coming back down to that same area where we've seen Tesla bounce. So to talk about this a little bit more simply, the last time Tesla was at this current price point, we've seen Tesla end up bouncing and going back up, right? So right now, investors are starting to think that this is a good buy point because we're near this previous low in which Tesla recovered from nicely. And now that we've entered that same area, investors are starting to think this could be a good time to buy, in which we're going to see the same type of recovery on Tesla. And I will come out and say this: the likelihood that we see the same type of recovery that Tesla did when it was previously around the $240, $250 price is very unlikely to see the same recovery now, okay? It's hard to believe that Tesla will see this big of a recovery with all the negative news, okay? So this is the way I see it. Right now, Tesla is at a low point in which a lot of people are thinking about buying. What I could foresee happening here is this. All right, I'm going to draw a yellow, or not yellow, but a red dotted line here. This red dotted line is going to mark off the $300 price point, right? So you can see Tesla kind of chopped around this $300 price point for a while. It bounced on 300, then it kind of hovered there, then it kind of bounced and broke down. So this 300 mark, right? This 300 mark's pretty key. So what we could see happen that I think would be the most likely to see is if in fact Tesla does have a bounce, what's most likely going to happen if it does bounce, it would bounce, but it would not be breaking above the 300 mark, okay? The star that I'm drawing on the chart was most likely where we're going to be seeing Tesla stop at. It's possible we break over 300, but in regards to what we're looking at with all the negative news and what's going on with Tesla, the likelihood that we see Tesla break up and over 300 here within the next couple months probably isn't likely. And the reason it's not likely, for one, is all the negative news, the amount of people that had just recently left Tesla. And the most important thing is this little blue circle right here on the chart, right there. That is most importantly. Most important. What's coming up is going to be Tesla's next earning report on 10/31. Okay, so it's going to be coming at the end of next month, I do believe. Let's see, yeah. So at the end of next month, 10/31, Tesla will be reporting their financial results. Okay, and if any of you guys had been following Tesla the last time they had earnings, which would have been right here on this yellow box, right here, this yellow box, Tesla, last time they had earnings, had promised shareholders that by next earnings report, he was going to be turning the company profitable, or he would show profits made throughout this next quarter. And as we all know, so far, any promises made by Tesla and Elon Musk have not really come through. They've all failed. Each promise has been broken. So in my personal opinion, last time we had earnings on Tesla, he said that he would promise some profits. We're going to be coming up to this earnings financial report end of next month. So if you take this negative news that it has caused a massive drop in Tesla, and you think about it in relation to last earnings reports to the current one we're coming up to, it would make sense that Tesla will probably stay below the $300 mark until we get to the next financial report. And if Tesla and Elon can prove on his promises, then at that point, there will become a new bullish sentiment for investors on Tesla. Okay, right now, the only bullish sentiment on Tesla is purely speculation. All right, but if we can move forward to this upcoming financial report on 10/31, which will be the end of next month, okay, and if in fact Elon does come through with his promises on profitability, at that point, we could then see a turn for bullish sentiment on Tesla's stock, where new investors and or old and previous investors would then be more comfortable in that share price, because he said he would promise it last financial report, and he did in fact come through on this next upcoming financial report. But if Tesla does not turn a profit and that financial report is bad and he does not come through with his promises, what do you think is going to happen? Most likely we're going to see the share price on Tesla drop, because this will be just another thing to add to the negative news and this negative train that Tesla's seen. Right? For him to promise profitability by this next financial report, and then he doesn't come through, on top of smoking weed, on top of the New York Times interview where he said he was super stressed, frustrated, and under a lot of pressure, and this has been a very challenging last year, on top of his HR department chief leaving, on top of his chief accounting officer leaving, and then what other news is to follow up until this next financial report? Let's think about this, guys. I do not see Tesla as a strong buy right now until the company can finally provide us with some type of confirmation of a strong company, and yet they have failed to do so. Okay, so for new investors, yes, right now Tesla could be a nice short-term buy, but in the long run, I wouldn't say it's a buy until we get some type of confirmation from this next financial report. Now, let's take a look here at this intraday chart. So now we're going to go into intraday. After that news had broke, we seen Tesla's share price drop from 281 all the way down to a low of 252 in the day. So it dropped nearly from actually it was more than 280. It was actually a little bit closer. Yeah, no, I bet it was about 280. So we've seen Tesla's share drop nearly $30 a share in one day. Now, of course, there was a short-term bounce on the day, but I do believe we're going to be seeing a little bit of a choppy run on Netflix for the next couple months until we get to that financial report. All right. So now that I'm done talking, I will look at some of your guys' questions and comments here in the video. All right. Yeah, there could be a short squeeze coming. I wouldn't doubt it. I do know this, that Tesla will be volatile over the next couple days, so it will be a good stock to keep on your guys' watch list in terms of swing trading or even day trading. The doobie. Electric Duber. I like it. This is funny. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff, right? So, we're only talking in terms of, right? We're only talking in terms of Tesla, right? So, with all the negative news and everything that's surrounding it, right now, definitely in my eyes, a shaky investment for investors. Investors are getting scared. You got to think about it. If you were an investor, how would you feel about Tesla right now? Don't think about it in terms of, a trader, a swing trader, but think about it in terms of a long-term investor at this point. Accounting leaves, HR leaves, horrible interview with New York Times, caught smoking weed on the Joe Rogan show. I mean, just those in general. And there's more things. I mean, as far as investor standpoint goes and investor sentiment, I'd be pretty nervous about Tesla at this point, right? Very nervous, right? Very, very nervous, okay? So definitely going to be seeing a lot of volatility here on the stock Tesla here in the coming days, okay? Now, before we go forward, that is the last thing I want to talk to you guys about. And then for anybody who has yet to join into our private trading group, if you like what you see here, you like the type of information we can provide, we can also do more of that inside our premium trading group. What I will do, just because, is I have put this coupon code at the top, Elon Smokes. If any of you guys that are new, for new joiners, join into our private trading group, you can use the coupon code Elon Smokes until 9/13. Okay, that's going to be a valid coupon until 9/13, so you can use Elon Smokes to receive $20 off. You can receive $20, not $20, yeah, sorry, excuse me, $20 off our yearly trading program. So our yearly trading program, enter that coupon code if you would like to receive $20 off our yearly stock trading program. And then that is all I have for you guys on today's live stream. Do join us on Monday morning for another pre-market live stream, as we will be covering Tesla stock and what is actively taking place come Monday morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys all once again for tuning in, as always, and I will see you on the next one.